guys, Anna here. Welcome back to Builds with Anna. Today we're in the world of Henford on Bagley, which is the world featured in the Cottage Living expansion pack. For today's video, I thought it'd be lovely to build a small, cozy style cottage. I picture that a widowed elder lives here with her chickens and maybe a dog. I'm not quite sure if dogs really fit into this world. I would think that they would. And yeah, so potentially having that second bedroom, the second bedroom in this house. So it is a 2x1 bedroom house. And the reason I've got a second bedroom is I envisioned that this widow has kept her daughter's childhood bedroom, and that for storytelling purposes, she's kept this bedroom the exact same. Maybe she feels sad about her child growing up and becoming older, and she misses those days, so she's kept everything the same. And I think it's really realistic that I think it'd be really sweet of a detail to add to gather inspiration for this build. I did lean on a reference picture. However, it didn't exactly work out for me, so I did tweak the picture quite a bit. And as you can see, we're just working on the roof. So I have actually curved the roof. The original roof, I used gabled roofs in all of this except for the half gable on the chimney side. Now the gabled roofs, they did look very suburbanesque to me, so I've curved them slightly, which is you pull the smaller arrow which is inside the options. It's not the outer arrows, and that helps you curve and curve your roofs. So I've selected that option as you saw previously, and it's given quite a nice detail. So the other thing about the build, so I've played around with porches and the positioning of the house. So I really struggled with this build. I struggled with the shape. I really wish it would have been a wider rectangle of a lot, but unfortunately it's not. So it definitely has more side than it does front. So the bit, I have cut this out. However, you can see I've applied some raised terrain to make a path. That was the original plan, but I do end up deleting this as I just couldn't work out a gate system. But let me know in the comment section down below if you actually prefer how the raised section looks. Alrighty, so we're working on the landscaping and the exterior of the build. I wanted to create a veggie patch because I feel like if you have this pack, farming is a very big element in the pack. So I just wanted to utilize this. And I do envision that this elder sim lives off the land. Like, she is very much a simple living type sim. And that's her way of life. So I'm just playing around with some terrain paint, placing dirt under the veggie patch and the all of the surrounding objects. Then I'm moving on to this salted sand. Now, I always put the salted sand in the chicken coop. I don't know. To me, it's more realistic. Every kind of free-range chicken coop I've ever seen in life has always had like tons of like straw and all that surrounded. So we don't have straw in this game, so I just thought, we'll put the salted sand. So that's a nice detail. Now I'm moving on to the front of the house, and I'm using these vine decorations that obviously came part of the Cottage Living pack. And I actually really loved how it turned out. I kept it very minimal for the reason of I wanted some detailing, but not too much. So the height of the house is, I believe it's a medium wall height. And if I didn't have the vines there, I 100% would have had a bigger door. But I think the vines really fill up that space and make it that entry look appropriate, essentially. Alrighty, so I just put some debug vegetables in the veggie patch. Now, I've done that for show. If you do so kindly download this house, feel free to delete all of that so for your gameplay you could use those veggie patches. Alrighty, windows. I didn't know what I wanted, so I liked these modular shutter windows combined with the same window piece that just doesn't have the shutter. So they're the windows I've used around the house. And I'm just roughly placing the windows. I do alter them later in the build, you'll see. Now, the reason I only put one window on the side there is because obviously there's a chimney, so which you'll see me do the detailing for there. So I've just used a half wall with a half wall to the certain height that I wanted, and I just replaced the walls of the chimney with that half wall. And now I'm going in with these roof pieces, these roof chimney pieces, and I'm using the 9 key to raise them up and line them up together. And I thought that just was a cute little detail. So these are the little roof, I don't know what they are. They're like roof detailing pieces that came with Cottage Living. I think they're so adorable with all the little animals on them. So we've got I think it's a rooster, and we've got a bunny. And I had to change the direction of the front piece because I wanted the bunny to face everybody. I wanted everyone to be like, yep, this is the bunny's house. It's the bunny's cottage. And I thought that was really cute. I think it just adds that detail again that's really enforcing that, you know, this is a cottage as opposed to any other type of house. Because I really struggled with this. Because to me, for the longest time, it looked suburban. And those dormer pieces from Cottage Living that you see there, the ones I've just changed the colour of, that is also something that added to that appeal of it being a cottage. It very much helped with the appeal. So now I'm moving on to some plants. Can I just say that Cottage Living debug menu is absolutely phenomenal. I feel like I should use it every time, regardless whether I'm in Henford-on-Bagley or not. It's just wonderful. Those pink roses are beautiful. They come in, there's a pink, I think there's a purple and a red, and it's just absolutely, I really went with that pinkish colour scheme at the front of the build. So I'm just placing some debug pots and just sizing up and down some of these barrel flower objects. We are just cluttering up now. Most of the backyard is done. We are just cluttering. Oh, all right, so I thought that was cute, like a little gardening thing I found these fertilizer bags in the debug menu. So I thought that was really sweet. So as you can see, I've just flattened the terrain. So this is the part where I've just removed it. So shortly we're going to extend that fence all the way through and just place a gate. Now the only issue I had is, as you can see, there is not much distance between the front door and the edge of the build. So it does look a little bit crammed, and I do wonder if it was the right choice to make, but it was the lot size. I was really having issues with how wide this lot was. Yep, so we're just going forward with that landscaping. I absolutely adore this old tractor that I have in the back with the grass coming through it. It seemed really realistic to me, and I thought it actually was a great object to utilize the space that I had, because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to fill every section of this backyard, and I didn't want to. I wanted it to have a little bit of spacious feel. Okay, so just placing some stairs, and like I said earlier, so this is the part where I've extended that fence and I've just placed a gate. Now, if you look, there's not much. You essentially open the gate onto the stairs. It's not ideal. Have that. Alrighty. So what are we doing yet? So I created this little circle path area, and I thought, why not put like a picnic table with a picnic basket, which was a picnic basket was the new feature for this pack. So I thought, I always like to incorporate new activities and features of packs when I kind of do a pack that is featured in a build. So for example, if you do a cottage, you're most likely going to use cottage living. It's not a pack restricted build by any means, but you know, I wanted to incorporate some of those activities that you would do in cottage living, and having picnics was one of them. All right, so we're moving on the inside. I'm just about to start the floor plan. The floor plan of this one was an interesting one. So this ends up having 2 bedrooms, as I said before, a very big bathroom for my standards, a galley style kitchen, which I really love. This kitchen is it's a long and not so wide kitchen that leads into a 2-tile laundry, and it just looks so pretty to me. And then a very spacious living area, which I managed to place a fireplace, and the TV sits on the fireplace. It's not realistic at all. I always think it's weird to have TVs on top of fireplaces, but it worked in this house, so we've gone with that today. So just adjusting the heights of the windows. I really struggled because the roof curves. You want to be able to see a bit of the window, but you want it to be functional in terms of when you decorate. So just placing columns. Columns were interesting because obviously the curves, as you can see, I've had to reduce the height of each column so that it doesn't poke through the roof. So that's what I've done there. Okay, so now we're going to start decorating. So I start with the kitchen after placing the doors of the house, which, by the way, in the end, I do change the colours of the doors. I wanted a beigey colour, but I selected the white. So this is what I mean by like a galley style kitchen. It's all just long ways. It's all just long ways, and I've added that half wall in a reasonable height. And the reason I've done that is because I felt that it closed to the build way too much. If I left that half wall as a full wall, I wanted to add some of that space from the living room. So we're in the kitchen. So I recently got the country kitchen kit because it wasn't on sale as part of the Origin sale, but it's something that I really wanted. I've been umming and ahhing about it for a while. So I went with this yellow theme. Now, I believe all of the cabinetry except one and the fridge is the country kitchen kit, but everything else should be cottage living. So I liked the idea of mixing these yellows. It just kind of gave it more of that homey feel, a lived-in feel, that this was a older house, which, you know, as I said, I envisioned this having an elder sim live here who's had a child, and that child has since grown up and moved out. So it would imply that this is a lived-in house and that it is quite older. So I that's why I wanted to mix those the cabinetry, because the country kitchen kit cabinetry definitely looks more aged. It's a bit worn. The painting's a bit patchy and chipped. Alrighty, so as you can see, I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. I use a lot of alt placing to get my objects where I would like them. So just a quick recap on that: place the item at the height of the counter, and then alt place it to where you would like, move the counter back. So that's alt placing. All right, so we're pretty much done with the kitchen. We're just going around and working out what wallpaper we want for the build. I ended up going with this kind of like a sagey green with the white flowers, because I didn't want something that was extremely dark green and overpowering, but I wanted green. I wanted green because I felt that the green matched really well with the yellow. And I just went, why not? Let's just use the green in the whole house. Except I believe the second bedroom has different wallpaper. So here's this quick laundry. It's only a 2-tile wide laundry, so I just really put enough clutter in there that I could fit. I just felt it was realistic to have laundry. So I decided to include it in this build. Alrighty, so we're going to move away to the entryway of the house. So the problem is with this floor plan is I didn't naturally have a place for a dining table. So you'll actually see later on that I actually put the dining table across from where this entryway is because I had no other place to place it. So I did have reference pictures for this build, and that entryway was very much inspired by a reference picture where I had a chair that was over in a small area with some pictures and a really nice flower, and I was like, done. Done. And I always like having entryways to have something like a buffet table, a sitting area, something as you walk in. Sometimes I even do an office, I do a desk. I could have done that in this build, but I decided that, I don't know, something about cottage living tells me that they don't really have computers. I know a computer came with the pack, but it was more a typewriter style computer. It wasn't like a proper, I don't envision a laptop being in a cottage living house. Alrighty, so here are the infamous shelves that Anna places in every build. So they've gone in this living room space, as you can see. I've layered some of those nifty knitting rugs, and I just thought I'd add this little knitted octopus as a little, I don't know, it's different. I thought it'd be cute, I didn't put any knitting activities in here. I kind of wish I did. I did put cross stitching, but I didn't put knitting. But I just feel like it makes sense. When I have Sims, I kind of have them do both. I don't really have them do one, not the other. All right, so flashback to my luxe apartment build. If you've watched that, thank you. If you haven't, be sure to go ahead and watch that. It's absolutely great. Turned out really well. But I use a lot of the backyard stuff pack items. So that candle that you saw was from there. The 3 flower pots, I'm obsessed with them. They are just fitting in so many spaces. All right, so here is that dining table that I end up putting. I just put a small round 3-seater table. It was all that I could really fit in the space comfortably, and I just thought, it's really enough because genuinely speaking, you may only have about 3 Sims in this house. So I thought for now that would be okay. I'm sure if you were to download this build and alter it, I'm sure you guys are very amazing at it and you'll definitely use the space way better than I did, but that's what I envisioned for this space. And of course, got to have your apron, and I thought the apron on the door was just such a sweet little a detail. Just a coat rack. Normally I would size up this painting, as you can see, I've attempted it there, but it looked better small to me in this house. So this backyard is very sad. It's very tiny. It's essentially, it's got decking, but it's mainly got that clothesline and that's about it. And that's okay because most of the house is to the side, like all of that side yard is the focal point. So now we're moving into that children's bedroom. And I used some high school year stuff in this build. I found this lolly rug, and oh my god, it reminded me so much of like this whole room. Despite the wallpaper, it just looks like an ice cream. All I see is ice cream when I see that bed and that rug. And I thought that was really good too. Okay, it's a cottage, but to have some elements that are very much children-esque, that are age appropriate. So, and that's mainly the room. There's not much to it. I didn't want to do a whole pile in the second room because, as I said, I wanted the room to really say, hey, I've had a child live here, but a child doesn't currently live here. Yeah. So moving on, we're into the elder Sim's main bedroom. So I used the cottage living double bed and the matching bedside tables to the wardrobe. I had to play around with the windows so that I could alt place the curtains. And this room is just very simple. It wasn't a huge master bedroom in this house, unfortunately. I usually like to make them a lot bigger. But I've done with the space with what I can. So I've placed this nice chair from Cats and Dogs. I actually think it's more cottagey than the ones that we got from Cottage Living. And I placed the cross stitching there. So I figured that might be something she does in her bedroom, perhaps. And then I found an old easel and I thought, it's got to have skill building. So we put some painting out there, and then I thought I could pave a bit of this area here in this bump out and just do like a little chest section. So I've done that as well. So we've just been able to incorporate some skill building items into the build. So back to the bedroom, we're just cluttering up the chest of drawers and the bedside table. And I absolutely love that children's kind of artwork piece. It looks like a project they've done at school or what have you. And as I said, it kind of implies that maybe this child made that for this sim and she's kept it. And it's pink and it matches her bedroom, and maybe pink was her favorite color and whatnot. So the bathroom in this house is very ordinary. I cut most of it out. I edited most of it out because I thought you probably did not want to see the majority of this. It's very plain. Just a very standard bathroom that I would do. But yeah, I love how these parenthood curtains turned out. So now we're just doing a quick tour of the build. I'm just going to change the colour of the doors and we are done, people. We are done. So this is the final outcome. Build. I noticed that these trees were clipping, so I've just moved those back. But yeah. And there we have it. So there is the cottage. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was maybe my second speed build that I've done. And I'm definitely getting there, and I'm having so much fun with it. So please comment down below what you liked about the build and what you would like to see next. Maybe there'd be a certain style of house you would like to see next, and I would definitely be keen for requests. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and bye-bye for now.